avoiding and eliminating debt. Very, very important. Obviously, first thing you want to do is to avoid debt altogether. I don't like debt, even though they have the concept of good debt and bad debt. And I don't know if we have time today to talk about the difference between good debt and bad debt. And there is such a thing. For example, if you go and borrow money to buy a car, is that considered a good debt or a bad debt? Can somebody tell me? If you're borrowing money to buy a car, is this a good debt or a bad debt? Anyone? You guys can speak up or you can put in the chat box. Let's see. Okay, so we have Kira says good. Okay, anybody else who wants to say it's a good debt or a bad debt? All right, let's see. We have other Shake saying good debt. Okay, so let's consider what makes some debt a good one or a bad one. If you're borrowing money and that money is going to allow you to either invest it and have a return on your investment, or it's going to allow you to earn income for work, and then it's good debt, right? If I buy a car and that car is going to allow me to get a job and drive to my job and back and forth, then it makes a good debt. But if I had a car and I just wanted to be a show off and now I want a more expensive car and I, hand in my Honda or Toyota and now I'm buying a Mercedes and it's going to cost more money and it's going to give me unnecessary debt that I have to make payments every month, then it's a bad debt. So it always comes down to what is the purpose of the debt, right? If I'm borrowing money to buy a house, then obviously it's an investment into my own family, investment for myself. So then it makes it more good debt. If I'm borrowing money to go on vacation, is that a good debt or a bad debt? Probably bad debt, right? So when you're looking at debt, you have to understand what is the purpose of this? Is this going to help me to better myself, to earn more money, or get return on my investment? If the answer is yes, then it's a good debt. If the answer is no, then it's a bad debt. And you want to avoid bad debt as much as possible, especially debt on credit cards. Because believe it or not, credit card companies charge anywhere between 8% to as much as 19% interest on your money. So I'll give it to you with an example. Say you borrowed $10,000 on credit card for a vacation or whatever it is that you want to do. At that money, if you don't pay it back at the end of the month, let's just say they're charging you 20% on that debt or 10% on that debt. That means you're paying $1,000 on that $10,000 that you are going to be paying. And if you don't pay all the time, it just accumulates. So if you don't pay that debt in 1 year or 2 years, 3 years, you could actually end up paying back $20,000 for the original debt that you took for $10,000. So it's very, very important to avoid debt if possible. And if you already have debt, eliminate it. Pay off your credit cards. Pay the double amount. Pay it as much as you can, as fast as you can. Because when you're getting your credit card payment, it says your minimum payment is $100 or $50 or $35. You don't need to pay minimum payment. You want to pay more than the minimum payment. You want to eliminate that debt as much as you can, because otherwise you'll be just paying interest and your principal is still going to be there. It's a huge burden, and it's one of the ways to really get sunk into that hole where you can't get out of. You want to eliminate that as much as you can and avoid it as much as you can. Are there any questions about that? Any question? Go ahead.
Wanted to say something.
Yes.
No, it has to do with the question whether it's a good investment to buy a car or not. So sounds good.
So did I answer your question?
Sure.
So again, if you buy a car that's going to help you make money or earn money or get a better job because it's a little bit further away, of course, yes, it's a good debt. But if you already have a car, but then you want to, have a better looking car, or, more a car with a bigger brand name, and I don't know, just show off. In my opinion, that's absolutely not important and absolutely not necessary. Okay, going to skill number 6. Let's see, skill number 6. That it is, we already talked about this also, types of debt. Know the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good news is we already talked about that.